Hi guys! I'm going to show you a book today called Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and it's a pop-up book. I bought this many years ago, back when I was still an avid collector of Alice in Wonderland books, and I've only read it a couple of times, or looked through it a couple of times, because I'm so paranoid about the pop-up parts breaking. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to maybe read a little bit from it, but mainly just show you the pop-up effect. So I hope you enjoy. I've left my dressing gown on the table so that Binks can just have some cozy time. So, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And by the way, I'm starting to grow my nails from scratch again, so I apologise, they're not super tappy. They're just basic short nails, so I'm sorry. Okay. So, as you can see when we open up the first page, it's super duper creaky. And you've got Alice's sister, Alice the White Rabbit. And if you look closely on these little trees, you can see the Cheshire Cat. And the Queen of Hearts is just here as well, so that's like a really interesting little feature. It has these little inclusive pocket kind of things. It says open me, so that's a really nice touch. I'm not sure if I can actually get this out to show you because it's a little bit difficult to do, but I can read this part, so let's have a look. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? So this bit actually comes out too. And there's another extra little pop-up part of some drink that says drink me and a pie that says eat me. So that's more of the story. I'm pretty sure you get the whole entire story in this book because they found really ingenious ways, really clever ways of putting it in, so that even though the book is only a few short pages long, you can see they have included much more inside by just encasing it. I think that's it, yeah, that's it for this page. You've just got to be so confident when you're handling it, because otherwise you can't get the bits out. But I'm just so worried about ripping it, even though it doesn't really matter because it's my book anyway, but I'm just like super careful with things. So let's flip to the next page. So look at that. I don't know if you can see Alice in the little window. It's actually literally a clear, like a perspex window. You can see her peeping through. This is when she grows too large, and there's a foot sticking out of the roof, and the foot, where is that coming out of? Coming out of a broken window there as well. You've got the White Rabbit. I don't know if you can see him. Let me turn this book around a little bit. Yeah, there he is, looking very irritated or angry because it's his house, I think, and some other woodland creatures. So let's have a look. Little holographic part here. W. Rabbit. She came upon a neat little house on which was a bright brass plate. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. With the name W. Rabbit. And then this has got the door that you can open to continue the story. So what little pop-ups have we got? We have the fan and the white gloves, and the story continues. And then we have the caterpillar. It creaks so much I feel like it's breaking even just opening it. Look at that face. It doesn't look happy, does he? And then we have Alice with her growing neck. So cool how they do that. Imagine the people who put this together, they must be so talented. Must be a lot of difficulties and mistakes where you just can't get it right, or it just doesn't work, and then you have to like mass produce it. I think that's the last bit on that page. Again, tuck those back in. I did toy with the idea of doing a weekly read of maybe a couple of chapters of a book such as Alice in Wonderland, but I didn't know if that would be too boring, and I didn't know if when you read it's not maybe as tingly as when you talk, but I'm not sure. Let me know if that would be something you would be interested in, and I could maybe do that. Just like it could be a little extra video maybe midweek where I just read a few chapters from a book to kind of help you sleep or something like that. Okay. Next page. So here we have the Duchess. I'm just going to move my hair out of the way. Here we have the Duchess. Wow, very accurate depiction of a historical kind of Duchess. So if you look, you can see she's holding the crying baby. There's the pepper, and there's Cheshire Cat just hiding in the corner there. Wow! Something I did not know before is that he is flocked. So he's actually a soft, smooth, kind of fur material. That is so clever. His body is flocked too. I wonder if he is flocked on the other pages. I'm going to have to check. And his tail also in part is soft and smooth fur. That's really interesting to find out. I'm going to now have to feel all of the textures, because obviously with things like the pepper mill or grinder, whatever it's called, you can actually feel that it's metallic, and sorry, you can see that it's metallic, but with the Cheshire Cat you can't really tell until you touch him that he is flocked. So cute. Okay, she came upon an open place with a little house in it, about 4 feet high. Whoever lives there, thought Alice, it'll never do to come upon them this size. Why, I should frighten them out of their wits. So she began nibbling at the right hand bit again till she had brought herself down to 9 inches. Giving you like tiny snippets of the story which make no sense. So there we have the pepper grinder, which does actually look a little bit suspicious now that I look at it again. We have some utensils, or some, what are they called? Pots and pans. They're not called utensils, are they? I forget. But we do have a few utensils in there. And the crying baby, or the pig baby actually I should say. That is super creepy. I must say, when you read old books, especially things like fairy tales as well, they're a lot darker than you remember them being. They're a lot creepier. But I like that kind of stuff, so the creepier the better. I didn't know if you've seen, they remade Winnie the Pooh into a horror, and they're actually remaking Shrek into a horror, or at least Fiona in the tower, in the castle. But I think all of that stuff is so good, even if it's bad, even if it's trash, like B-movie type stuff with no real storyline. I just love it so much. I think it's so fun to watch. Okay, should we go on to the next page? Oh, we have one more. And it's little Cheshire Cat. Don't know if you can see him in the bushes in the tree. He's blocked. Again, he's blocked. That's so cool. I'm really sorry about my nail. It broke off completely, so I had to do, you know, like when your nail breaks off so bad that you have to cut it to like nothing. So now I've got to play catch up with that one so that it reaches the rest of them. I think it's because I tried those false nails, and they just kind of, even though they just had like a sticky tab thing, they kind of ruined my nails a little bit. And I felt really bad too because I got a comment on my last video that said your stupid nails, what was it? Your stupid nails are going to end up in the nature. And I felt so bad for the nature. I thought, well, maybe I can just keep them and just recycle them and wear them forever, and then they won't end up in the nature. Or maybe I could just eat them. And go, you know, that way they just never get wasted. Anyway, sorry, I'm talking rubbish. So he's blocked again. He's all furry and he looks so cute. He's so tiny. And his little tail. There's just so much detail, so much work has gone into making this book. I don't think I've ever truly appreciated it as much as I have upon finding it again now, because I never open things, I just collect them. But I've got to start really experiencing things. Oh, that one really didn't want to go. So here we have the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and you can see some iridescence, some holographic teapot, and also the teacup rims and the teacup saucers, although it looks like the saucers are on top of them, so I don't really know what's going on. So let's read the little snippet. She had not gone much farther before she came in sight of the house of the March Hare. There was a table set out under a tree in front of the house, and the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea at it. A dormouse was sitting between them, fast asleep. So you have Alice at the head of the table, obviously. You have all of the place settings, and then you have the Mad Hatter and his holographic teapot, the dormouse, which is flocked on both sides. So this side and the other side both flocked, and his little spiral tail. Oh look, he is also has the little fuzzy, reminds me of that thing you have when you're a kid. You remember fuzzy felt? And you have to kind of stick it to the board. I don't know if you had those when you were a kid, but I did. So next door appear to be moving all of their furniture around at once. The March Hare. Let's see, do we have any pop-ups in here? Oh, wow. So, got a nice depiction of the March Hare dipping the dormouse into the teapot. And he is half blocked and half smooth. This is a great book for ASMR because the textures are just so good. Sorry, I just noticed my finger. I had another comment. I love all your comments, I genuinely do. I had a comment this morning, I believe, saying that someone really liked my videos, but it freaked them out or something when my fingers bend like backwards. I'm so sorry. Basically, I have hypermobility, and it means that all my joints and all my everything, pretty much every single part of my body bends the wrong way, and I can't control it, I can't help it, it just naturally does that. So when I stand up, my knees will lock backwards, so they will bend the wrong way, so my legs will be like a C shape. It's so awful, it looks terrible. But so my fingers sorry, I have a little thing in my throat. They naturally just bend when I'm leaning or when I'm moving, and if it makes you kind of like, if it icks you out, I guess, then I'm sorry, but I can't control it. I don't really mind it, it doesn't really bother me. The only thing that it's difficult is because it means that a lot of times my shoulder will dislocate, and then I have to wait for it to go back in, and then for ages I'm just in so much pain, and I can't sleep on that side very much because I wake up and my shoulder is slowly, leaving my body. So yeah, it's a pain. And also my ankles roll all the time, unless I wear like super supportive boots. My ankles tend to roll, when you kind of when your ankle goes sideways and you hear like a crunch, it's like that but like 100 times worse. But anyway, that's my pity party over. Let's turn the page. I really honestly love your comments so much, because like, especially when it's like a regular thing from a certain person, like who keeps commenting regularly, I'm like learning a little bit about them, and I almost always reply if it's like a question or if it's something that warrants like a reply. I usually do that, but I don't think it notifies anybody because I usually don't, it doesn't turn into like a thread of conversation. But just know that I read every single comment, and it's really, really fun for me. So here we have the suit, who is painting the roses red. And this rose, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of like the effect that it's, you remember what the old 3D glasses were made of before they were like super modern? They used to be made of like a blue and red gel kind of thing. It's like that, like a perspex kind of window. So that's nice. Right. Don't know where Binks is. Oh, he's just there. Probably just... Did you hear that? Sorry, Binks, I didn't mean to wake you up. Now he's purring. No, he's not. And is this the last page? No. I think this is the penultimate page. And there is so much going on. I must have known about the flocked material, because he is pretty obviously flocked. Hear the creak. So you have the king, the white rabbit, some royal subjects playing flamingo croquet. Oh, Binks is on the move. You have some suits, and is this a suit who's lost his head, or is he just... I can't tell. You have the Queen of Hearts. I think she might have cut his head off, because I do see a head. And he looks rather, dead. This little fuzzy creature, is this the dormouse? I don't think it is. I think it's just one of the hedgehogs. Oh yeah, because look, here they are rolled up into their little ball shape. Here's Alice with her flamingo croquet stick. Is that what it's called? It's probably not called a stick. Come on then, get to your places, shouted the Queen. People began running about in all directions, tumbling up against each other. However, they got settled down in a minute, and the game began. Alice thought she had never seen such a curious croquet ground in her life. The croquet balls were live hedgehogs, and the mallets live flamingos. Mallets, that's the word I was looking for, mallets. Because they're the shape of a flamingo, they don't really look like a mallet, do It's really funny reading out loud because when I was in school, I don't know if you have the same, but in an English lesson sometimes if you're reading, you would go around the class and each read like a few paragraphs or a page, and the teacher would sort of say, okay, you next, you next, you next, or you'd go through the register. And we went through a specific order, so I would count how many people would be reading in front of me, and I would skip ahead and make sure there were no words that I didn't know on the page that I was going to be reading. That's how bad my anxiety is. I couldn't just leave it to chance that I would get stuck on a word or read something wrong, because I was just so paranoid and nervous that I would get it wrong, that I kind of rehearsed my reading. So yeah, don't know if anybody has ever done that or if it's just a me thing, but right, what do we have? Oh wow, that's really cool. Look at that. Cheshire Cat all flocked again. This big Cheshire Cat grin. That's really nice. Ooh, the phoenix. Ooh. That is a phoenix, right? I don't even remember. Oh, it's a griffon. I do apologise. It's a griffon. And a mock turtle. He doesn't deserve to be flocked, evidently. Oh, little ears poking out. Okay, I believe that we're on to the last page. Wow, how amazing is that? Trying to centralise it for you. I can't believe this opens and closes like so efficiently as well. I feel like you'd have to tuck everything back in again. So you have a flocked goose. I believe that's a goose. I think my powers of deduction today are a little off, but and a mouse, maybe the dormouse, I don't know. White rabbit and a parrot. I do apologise. And you have Alice there in the middle. So let's read the last little excerpt. The King and Queen of Hearts were seated on their throne with a great crowd assembled around them. The knave was standing before them in chains, and near the king was the white rabbit, with a trumpet in one hand and a scroll in the other. In the middle of the court was a table with a large dish of tarts upon it. It made Alice quite hungry to look at them. There's the Queen of Hearts tarts. Haven't eaten a jam tart in forever. There we have the white rabbit with his scroll, his metallic holographic trumpet, and a little flocked vase. Oh, hi Sushi. What are you doing? Maybe not in the mouth. She's come to see what all the fuss is about. We have a squirrel, we have a goose, we have whatever animal this might be, a frog or a toad, a gecko, a lizard maybe. And then Alice waking up from her nap, and her older sister there too. Does that go back in? I feel like that does, but I'm just not. There we go. So now the test will be if this page can close efficiently. Perfect, so smooth. And there you have the back. Just says a classic collectible pop-up. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is Robert Sabuda's most amazing creation ever, featuring stunning pop-ups illustrated in John Tenniel's classic style. The text is faithful to Lewis Carroll's original story, and special effects like a Victorian peep show, multifaceted foil and tactile elements make this a pop-up to read and admire again and again. And I feel like I've definitely rediscovered my love of Alice in Wonderland. I love anything that's to do with escapism and, you know, fantasy worlds. I think it's just an escape from reality into a world where the normal rules of society don't apply. So anything like watching movies, going to immersive events, reading a book, especially things that are about fantasy, I think it's a really good form of escapism, and I don't think it does any harm at all to live in the non-real world. Thank you so much for tuning in again, and I will see you soon. Bye.